Moving on, Canada. Speaking of Canada, they play a pretty important game this week. Starting off the Copa America against Argentina on Thursday night. Who's one player that you guys think Canada needs to step up for Canada in order for them to get out of the group stage of this tournament?
I'll take the obvious one because I feel like Alex will have some great ones on this, but I think Jonathan David. You need your number 9 scoring goals, and he's a prolific, obviously, scorer throughout Europe, throughout his time at Lille. He maybe hasn't had his defining moment in a big tournament for Canada yet. This is a great opportunity for him to show up and have a great Copa America, score some goals, lead the line for Canada. I think if Jonathan David is going, Canada's going in this competition.
Yeah, man, this is a tough one 'cause there's so much I can pick. Again, I'll stick with a similar theme as to my first answer. You got to go with the obvious sometimes, and I think for Canada, you're only going to go as far as Alphonso Davies takes. I think it's important to mention him this morning. He was named Jesse Marsh's Canada men's national team captain, right? So that's obviously a big responsibility. And it's not the most obvious pick. Obviously, there's a lot. Some wondered if a Stefano Eustáquio could have earned that role. So it's a big, pressure on Davies that some are looking at him like, all right, is he ready to lead? Is he ready to step up? It's easy to forget that he's right now with Russell Rowe's addition. I think he's the 4th youngest guy on this team, but he's also been there since 2017. He's the team's best player. And sometimes in the past, he's been capable or guilty of doing a bit too much of wanting to take that responsibility. This is a huge challenge for him. And this is the sort of challenge that great players often face in their careers, especially around this age. I'm very curious to see how he responds. I think the parallel I'd use right away, just because the one I'm more familiar with and I've seen, I remember a lot of the same things being said about Kylian Mbappe when he was named captain ahead of the 22 World Cup. Should have been the France's number 7, Antoine Griezmann, the veteran of that team, the heartbeat. You kind of see the parallels. Canada's number 7, the heartbeat of that midfield. Was Mbappe ready? Turns out he grew into the role incredibly, and he's been super well spoken, incredible leader. For Davies, I want to see him respond in that sort of way. And then, of course, on the pitch, just do his thing. Because I think if he can have some 10 out of 10 performances, Canada will typically do well in those sorts of games.
Just building off that super quickly, one other player that I'm very interested to see and will very much be important to complementing Alphonso Davies is Liam Miller. A player on his side of the pitch, that combination of what Miller can offer him going forward and also coverage-wise defensively. I think that partnership is going to go a long way towards Alphonso having his best tournament. So I'm really excited to see what Liam Miller can do at this Copa America. And I think a player who's quickly emerging as a really, really important one for Canada.
I'll decide as well. In net, whoever plays in net, I think it'll probably be Max Crepeau, or I hope it's Max Crepeau. I think whoever's in that will be important. We saw Crepeau against France, some huge saves, including on Mbappe late in that game, and he'll be crucial for or whoever's in that will be crucial for how Canada plays in this game, especially if the center backs Cornelius and Bombito were expecting. I think if they let anyone through, which they didn't do a ton of in those 2 friendlies, but the goalkeeper will be pretty important. And moving on to the other side of the things, Canada's playing Argentina, Peru, Chile. Who's one opposition player other than Lionel Messi, of course, that you guys are excited to see play against Canada?
I'll go for an obvious one as well, but Angel Di Maria, still an important player for Argentina. Scored, I think, 2 of their past 3 games, and now we'll probably get to see him a little bit more as Inter Miami are going to somehow fit him under their cap. But I think always been an underrated member of the Argentina side, and in this generation, a really top baller for Canada to test themselves against.
I think after 2 obvious picks for my first 2 I had to go for a bit of a hipster pick.
Lovely.
Give me Ben Brereton Diaz on Chile. I just think his story has been fascinating ever since, he randomly found out he was eligible for Chile. I think it was like ahead of the 2021 Copa America. Showed up, balled out. It was incredible, that tournament, and now has become a key part of Chile. Hopefully he keeps that place. I know there's been some controversy between him and coach Ricardo Gareca, who, is surprised he hasn't learned Spanish yet, given he's been with the national team for 4 years or whatever it is now, because time flies. But I just love Brereton Diaz's profile. So quick for his size. He's 6'2". He's built like a British lad, but then you kind of see he plays with a bit of South American flair. I wonder if it's maybe just experiencing, Copa America, experiencing World Cup qualifiers. It's going to be fascinating to see a player like that, especially that Chile game might be, it's crucial for Canada. Argentina, it's a bonus for Canada, but if you're going to get out your group, you got to do well against Peru and especially Chile. Because ever since Gareca's arrived, this Chile team looks like a threat, and you'll for their perspective, even if Gareca and Berton Diaz have had their differences, you'd imagine he'll be key for him in this tournament.